Hi everyone, I want to introduce my live audience. I have my daughter Liv, my son Leif, and then behind the camera is my husband Ryan. So today the weather is a bit gloomy outside, it's cold, and whenever it's cold outside in our family, we love to have homemade soup, and we also have a tradition of watching Little Bear, if you're familiar with that show. And our favorite soup that we love on a cold day, especially when it's a Sunday and we're trying to relax, is homemade matzo ball soup. So just for the sake of time for the video, I went ahead and I started prepping all of my ingredients for my matzo ball soup. So I have my prepared veggies here. You can add onion if you would like, but we're not a huge onion family, so we're just gonna stick to celery and carrots. We have 2 eggs for when we make our matzah, and we have some flavorings over here as well. So to go ahead and start with the broth, I'm just going to prep that right now. So I'm gonna put my veggies into my pan over here and put this in. And we're just gonna saute them just for a little bit. And while we're sauteing those, we are going to go ahead and start getting our matzo balls going, because the matzo balls take the longest. So for our matzo balls, I like to use Manischewitz. It's just the best, I think, on the market, and it makes like the perfect amount of matzo balls for our family. So they label it for you clearly here. So matzo ball mixture, we're gonna just use the same bowl, and then you are going to add in 2 eggs. And you want your eggs to be cold, because the colder that the matzo balls are, the fluffier that they're gonna be, and they're gonna have more air in them, and they won't be super dense. So with that, you're gonna go ahead and you are going to mix in your egg. And you do use a fork for this because it is a pretty thick mixture. Once it's mixed in, the recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil, but I like to use this garlic flavored olive oil instead. And plus, olive oil is just a little bit better for you than vegetable oil. And we're gonna go ahead and mix this up. So the consistency is gonna look like this. It's very mealy, almost like a grits consistency. And it does not look like it's gonna be a lot in there. And then we're just gonna pop this into the refrigerator, and you have to let it sit for 20 minutes. So over here, now that we have our vegetables going, and we're getting all the flavor in here. I also use the garlic flavored olive oil in this to saute. We are going to use cold water, and I'm gonna use probably about 4 cups of cold water that I'm gonna put in here, and I'm just gonna bring this to a boil. And then the Manischewitz mix also comes with a soup mixture packet. So we are going to add that in here. And then I'll just use this spoon to mix it up. And you're gonna let this boil for a while, and then after you let it boil, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna turn it down to a simmer. And you're gonna have some of the clumps in there, and that's okay. We can go ahead and whisk them out if they don't just come out. And that's gonna be our base, the foundation of our soup. Okay. So once this is boiling, I'm gonna go ahead and I will cover it with a lid and turn it down to a simmer. So I'm gonna cover this and turn this down to a simmer right here. And let's just fast forward, pretend it's been 20 minutes and our matzahs are good to go. We are going to take our matzah, and you are gonna form it into little balls. So they're gonna look really small, but when you put them in and they cook, they're gonna expand bigger. I like mine smaller because as you see, I have smaller children. I don't have to cut them up because the bigger that the matzo balls are, they hold a lot of heat in them, which isn't good for the kids. So when we prepare these and they're all ready to go in, I'm gonna take the lid off, bring this back up to a boil, and plop in my matzo balls in here, cover it up, and then it will go ahead and cook for about 10 to 15 minutes, and it's gonna cook off all that egg so they're safe to eat. And then once that is all done, I also got a rotisserie chicken from Costco. So if you like to have some chicken in your matzo ball soup, you can shred that up and put it in. All right, so just gonna wash my hands really fast. And once your soup is all done, you can enjoy it. If you'd like to add noodles, you can also add noodles in there when the water is boiling and you put your matzo in there. Sometimes we like to add in some noodles for the kids, but sometimes we just like to have it just with the matzo and the rotisserie chicken. And that there is how I demonstrated to you how to make matzo ball soup. Thank you guys so much.